Goa, the smallest Indian state, is in the western coast. Its palm-filled sand beaches on the coast of Arabian Sea and a historic European past now attracts millions of tourists from around the world. The first overseas people to arrive here were the Portuguese. Goa is near Kappad beach in present-day Kerala, where Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama landed in 1498. He opted the sea route to Asia for the Europeans, and that changed the history of Asia. In those history-making days, Goa was the capital of Portuguese activities in Asia. Just 2 years after Vasco's landing, the Portuguese colonized Goa and occupied it until 1961. In the more than 5 centuries long occupation, Portuguese influenced every aspect of Goan life. The most active evidence of that past is many ancient churches and architecture that still invites visitors.
The first thing, for the Portuguese, it was not just a question of economic advancement. Along with trade, they also they brought the cross along with them, in the sense that they wanted the people, wherever they were, to have the same culture as them and the same religion as them. So therefore, that was one thing that they did in Goa, that all the missionaries who came, so the early missionaries were the Franciscans. They were among the first. Therefore, all the churches here in Bardes, this part of Goa, what we say northern part of Goa, were built by the Franciscans. So all these churches close to us are by the Franciscans. And then after them followed other orders. Dominicans came, Augustinians came, Theatines came, and the Jesuits also came.
Old Goa, which served as the Portuguese capital, has many small and big churches built by different Christian orders in Portuguese style. All the churches are now World Heritage Sites and taken care by the Archaeological Survey of India.
It was the religious order who did most of the preaching of the good news, going around meeting people, and they were given specific areas. Because there was also this thing of religious competition, that each was trying to compete with the other to get more people for Christ. So therefore they demarcated areas and they gave particular areas to them. The religious orders were the ones who did most of the conversion and all. So the churches came up also because the religious orders got also the money and other income from the government, from the Portuguese government.
One of the oldest churches in India is the Basilica of Bom Jesus or Good Jesus. It was built by the Jesuits in 1605. It contains the relics of Saint Francis Xavier, which are exhibited every 10 years for public viewing. The basilica is India's first minor basilica. The floor is made of marble and inlaid with precious stones. Apart from the elaborated gilded altars, the interior of the church is simple. It also has a mausoleum on the top of which Saint Xavier's body is kept in a silver casket. Just opposite the basilica is the Say Cathedral, built in 1619 for the Dominicans. The largest church in India, which was earlier the seat of the Goa Archbishop, is dedicated to Saint Catherine of Alexandria. The building is Portuguese Gothic in style with the Tuscan exterior and Corinthian interior. The church is 250 feet in length and 181 feet in breadth. Old paintings on either side of the altar depict scenes from the life of Saint Catherine and her martyrdom. Adjacent to the Say Cathedral is the Church of Saint Francis of Assisi. It was built in 1661 by the Franciscan missioners. The main entrance is decorated with circular pilasters and rosette band. The central nave is barrel vaulted while the crossing is rib vaulted, which supports the choir. Above the tabernacle in the main altar is a large statue of Saint Francis of Assisi and Jesus on the cross. One of the most spectacular monuments of Old Goa is the St. Augustine Tower. One of the 4 towers of the St. Augustine Church, it is 46 meter high, 4-storied arched belfry tower built of laterite. The tower and the church were built in 1602 by the Saint Augustinian friars. In 1835, this complex was abandoned due to the expulsion of religious orders from Goa, and Portuguese government ordered its demolition. What remains now are the ruins of the church, which once had 8 chapels, 4 altars and extensive convent with numerous cells. One of the most beautiful churches in Old Goa is the Church of Saint Cajetan, built by the Italian friars. The church is modelled after the original design of St. Peter's Church in Rome and built in laterite blocks in the second half of the 17th century. The main altar, dedicated to Our Lady of Divine Providence, and the 3 subsidiary altars with twisted shafts on each side of the hall, having figures of Holy Family and other saints including Saint Cajetan, are exquisitely carved in Baroque style. The Church of Our Lady of Rosary was built during the period from 1544 to 1547. This church has 2 chapels and 3 altars. The main altar is dedicated to Our Lady of the Rosary, though the influences of Gothic style are seen in the rib vault of the portico exterior. The chapel of Saint Catherine was built in 1510 by Afonso de Albuquerque to commemorate his entry into the city on the day of the feast of Saint Catherine. It has a tower on either side of the facade. The interior is plain, having 1 altar. The Portuguese have a lot of influence on the culture of Goa and spread of the Latin Rite in India. They also have a prominent role in Asian evangelization starting from Goa.
And so therefore there is a very strong Goan influence in the spread of Christianity to many other parts of Asia, because in those days when we talked of the Goa diocese, the Goa diocese extended right up to Japan in the east. And this side, if you go, it was right up to the South Africa and those areas, the whole African, peninsula. So you're talking of such a huge area, which were the Goa diocese. And so these priests were sent to, all these areas. And therefore you had the spread of Christianity owes its, origin, especially when you're talking of Latin Christianity, to Goa. It's from Goa that it spread to different parts. They had also a lot of trade relations with China and with other parts, Japan and all, because they were a seafaring nation, and they were very good at this maritime trade. So based on that, they moved to different places. So wherever they went, also with them the missionaries went. If you look at the church in whether it's Japan, whether it's China, whether it's Indonesia, all these areas, there is a very strong influence from Goa through the Portuguese. There is a very strong influence. So most part of Asia owes its origin, the Christianity, to the Christianity that started in Goa.
The centuries-old churches of historical significance now stand in Old Goa to tell the tales of time. They clearly portray the Portuguese love for their religion and culture. This is Ritu Sharma with Vijay Kumar Minj from Old Goa.